How does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as real media text? My short film both uses and challenges traditional media conventions, particularly in the way that it represents gender and class. Drawing from the male gaze theory, I continuously avoided objectifying the victim character Maya through camera work, rather than presenting her as a passive object of visual pleasure. I used POV shots, neutral link frames, and close-up shots to emphasize the emotion over the appearance to create a more empathetic connection between the character and the audience. Although throughout the film she still keeps the innocent girl at appearance, like she has a really like soft appeal to her. I try to avoid the male gaze theory as much as possible. This overthrows the typical male-dominated gaze seen in many mainstream films and instead allows the character to be seen as a subject with agency, not an object. From a Marxist perspective, my film reflects on the critiques instead of social class and power structures. The main character's clothing, setting, and limited resources hint to a working or a lower middle class background. This is especially clear through the use of simple and domestic environments, throughout the lack of luxurious props and costumes, and subtle signs of economic constraint. These choices align with Marx's ideas by showcasing how someone's class can impact people, not just material conditions, but also mental health, freedom, and emotional experience. While conventional media often portrays characters in aspirational or glamorized settings, I chose to center the story rather on everyday lived-in spaces, which would be more accurate to reflect on these environments with a lower class main character. The emotional tension in the story can be seen as a metaphor, so to say, for the pressure of existing in a capitalist system that limits opportunities, emotional stability, and the upward mobility. Overall, my film aims to challenge the dominant ideologies by rejecting the male gaze and emphasizing character-based struggle while still using recognizable genre elements to remain engaging and familiar to the audience. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? My short film engages audience by creating a sense of suspense and emotional realism. From the opening scene, I used minimal dialogue and expressive close-up shots to immediately pull the viewers into the character's emotional experience. The cinematography helps build a connection, especially for younger audiences who might relate to the feelings of isolation, confusion, or anxiety in the film. One of the ways I keep the audience engaged is through visual storytelling using the lighting, camera movement, and performance rather than a heavy exposition. For example, the close-up shot on the character's face more than dialogue could ever tell somebody. This engages viewers by letting them interpret emotion and read the subtle cues. If this were to be distributed in real text media, I believe that it would best fit a YouTube short film. The reason for this is it has a concise structure and a clear emotional style, perfect for audiences who enjoy like a thoughtful artistic storytelling in a shorter format. Platforms like this also attract viewers who are open to emotional realism work, which aligns with the themes that I was going for. If marketed properly with a short trailer or a tagline, this film could connect well with Gen Z or millennial viewers who consume short form content on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. How did you integrate technologies in this project? At the beginning of this project, I had a basic understanding of filmmaking techniques, but as I progressed throughout the production, my skills improved significantly in several areas such as camera work, lighting, editing. Early on, I struggled with framing and getting the right angles to tell the story effectively. And after experimenting with different camera angles and reviewing earlier takes, I learned how to use the framing to emphasize the emotion and build suspense throughout the film. For example, I began using over the shoulder shots, tight close ups, and tracking shots to create a more immersive experience for the audience. I also developed a better understanding of lighting, learning how to use natural light when possible, and how to create a mood with the shadows or low key lighting when it was needed. You can really see the growth in scenes like ones where I used a darker lighting to add an emotional weight and mystery. How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups and issues? Technology was essential in every stage of this project, from pre-production to editing. For hardware, it was filmed using a smartphone camera, which gave solid image quality and flexibility in movement. I also used a tripod for stable shots and natural lighting sources to avoid harsh lighting setups, especially in like tight indoor spaces. Um, Additionally, the use of microphones to cancel out any background noises. For scenes that required lower light, I used a portable LED light or household lamps to get the right setting. On the software side, I edited the project using iMovie. This is where I learned how to shape the story, cut scenes, adjusting the timing, color grading. I also used audio editing tools to clean up dialogue and make sure everything flowed smoothly. Online tools were equally important, such as storage like Google Drive to help me share footage between devices and keep everything backed up. By the end of the project, I felt more confident in using these technologies not just as tools, but as creative extensions of the story I wanted to tell.